Testing, testing. Testing, 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you hear me, Catalina? Let me know when you're ready, and I will give you to Casey. You can start doing these.
Alright, are we good to start? Yeah, we can collect people? Yeah. Okay, it's get us going. Live stream good?
Almost ready.
Oh my God. Today, honestly, sorry. What do you think? Okay, I'll watch it for you.
Yeah, I see it. Okay. Ready?
Hear ye, hear ye. We're about to get started, everybody. Come on up front. Be ready. We're going to grill the finalists for the Oakland Ballers Fan Investment Round. Hey, first and foremost, how many of you before tonight could say that you've had beers with the founders of a pro sports team?
Woohoo! Nobody.
Probably nobody. How many of you can say that you've had beers with a room full of owners of a pro sports team? Now you can. Now you can. All right, so we had 2,100 people invest in the Ballers Fan Investment Round. Give yourselves a round of applause. All 2,100 of you are here tonight. Huge crowd. Huge crowd. So we had 76 participants. It got whittled down to 11. And now we are down to 2 finalists. I'm going to introduce and bring them up right now. First, I will introduce the president of the Oakland 68, Jorge Leon. AKA Jorge. And next up, our other finalist, JC. Lemonade 510. She is in the house. I heard that her video got the most votes in the first round. Is that true? Yes, it's competition. All right, we're not going to waste too much of your time. We're going to get right into it. Now, first and foremost, they're going to give opening statements. Then I will grill them. Then you'll have a chance to grill them. They'll do closing statements. And we will also do some rapid fire. We're going to take a lot of votes. Later tonight, polls open at 7 o'clock. You should have information in your email for how to vote. This is the first ever person that will be sitting on the board of a pro sports team as a fan investor. First ever. It comes down to these 2. Let's get started. I know, I'm trying to make them nervous. That's all part of the plan. All right, I don't have a coin. I should have brought one up here. But I'm going to start with Jay. You get to go first. Hopefully you're not too nervous like Jorge is.
Everybody take smile.
All right, ready? You get an opening statement. 2 minutes. Yeah.
4 minutes. My bad. I didn't look at my phone.
Okay, cool. I'll stand up for this. Well,
Good morning, Oakland.
Good evening.
What an exciting day for Ballers history in baseball in Oakland. My name is Jade Lay, and I'm honored to be chosen as a finalist of the Power of Fans for a position on the Ballers board. I'm here to ask for your support and vote so I can bring this energy that you see on the stage to decision-making meetings, to the field, and to, more importantly, the community. I couldn't be more excited to use my expertise as a softball player, entrepreneur, and community organizer to help the Ballers grow in the greater Bay Area. I am ready to provide a young local player perspective on what the Ballers could do to increase community engagement, enhance overall guest experience, and evolve in the Pioneer League. As a board member, I would be tasked with the responsibility to strengthen the foundation the Ballers is as an organization. Strengthen the foundation as a new team in the Pioneer League and a professional baseball team in Oakland. This was something the sixth grade third baseman who got pulled in the tryouts didn't even know was a thing. As a vote for me, a vote for me is a vote for someone that prioritizes increasing community engagement in Oakland and outside of Oakland, identifying stadium improvements, and identifying areas of growth to enhance the overall experience for players, visitors, and guest teams, and develop a 5-year diversity, equity, and inclusion plan that supports developing practices and policies. And I'll repeat that. A vote for me is a vote for somebody that prioritizes increasing community engagement, identifying stadium improvements, and developing a 5-year strategic plan. Cool. Initially, I'll be approaching the board with the intention of ensuring that staff gets paid a living wage, creating learning opportunities for players, and requiring stakeholders and players to be in community at events and other opportunities. I'm ready for it. Cool. All of this energy is caffeine-free and ran off of love, determination, and the power of community. I am passionate about the things that I care about, and it shows in how I run my business and how I show up in community, and I'm committed to approaching this position with all of that. I have worked as a community organizer, entrepreneur, and team player long enough to know that true success is a collaborative effort. Luckily, we have a team that has created multiple collaborative opportunities for the fans, like fan-controlled games, ownership investments, and voting for somebody that they trust to guide the Ballers to evolve in Oakland, create better experiences, and of course, get wins. This is who I am, and I hope it shows that I love working hard, doing things for the Bay, and playing ball. I applied to this position because I believe in the Ballers and I believe in myself. I know I have the skills to make the Ballers not just an Oakland team, but a respected Bay Area team. I cannot express my gratitude for everyone who took the time to vote, to comment, and share their support and take me to top 2. I had customers, old coworkers, old friends, and strangers write basic endorsements, many paragraphs on my social media video, and share why they think I'm fit, share about my previous actions, and why everyone else should vote for me. My slow pitch softball coach bats me second because I'm reliable and can bring momentum. Now, if y'all are ready, I'm ready to get on.
Woohoo! Let's go.
Oh, there you go. Hey, round of applause for Dave. Come on, baby, let's go. Y'all ball guys too, right? Let's go. Let's go, Oakland. Let's go, Oakland. All right. Great stuff, Dave. I have a whole speech here, so bear with me. First, I want to start by saying thank you to the Ballers staff and organization. This still continues to be a wild ride. My first Ballers game was in Colorado Springs against the Vikings before they even played a single game in Oakland. Last year, I went to 40 or more games, not including away travel. Crazy, right? I also like to hella thank all you lovely folks for being here tonight and for casting all your votes for me to be here.
I really truly appreciate that. With that said, my name is Jorge Leon, and I want to be your representative on the Oakland Ballers Board, and here's why. Sorry. I grew up all over Oakland, north, west, on Helen Street, right there during the '89 earthquake, and eventually East Oakland. It's where I fell in love with baseball. It's where baseball saved me. There used to be a mentoring, tutoring group program started by an Oakland teacher called the Green Stampede. And I used to cut school, go to the Coliseum, and do a lot of crazy things out there. And one day he called me and said, why not come do your homework and eat and watch the best team in the world? All of that for free. I was like, what, for real? All that for free? And I was like, how and why? Well, that's when I started my nonprofit knowledge and understanding that youth is what matters, and all they want to be is in a place where they belong. After high school, I joined the Stampede and became a tutor, and eventually ran the program from 2010 to 2015. We built a strong relationship with the A's front office at that time, and the community leaders, and had a 90% college admittance rate among those students who attended our program. So the whole time I was fighting to keep the A's in Oakland, and it's where some said my true Oaklander showed up, which is to fight for what is right. I've been a thorn on the A side for many years, from the stay movement to the anti-ownership signs, and to finally the sell movement, which garnered national and even some international media attention. And even through that fight, we had some wins where Ace operations crew let us restore our banners, drums, and flags at the Coliseum. I created a health and safety plan for our crew to help hang the banners and signs through the COVID season to show our support. And all of this while also starting Oakland's first supporters group, which is now called the Oakland 68. A 501c3 nonprofit that has helped in some ways shape the sports culture here. I was there for the Roots ownership when it was just a napkin idea and helped introduce it to city and community leaders, and since then have sat on the community advisory board. Worked with them on the Play Proud campaign, which was 100 hours of DEI and LGBTQ+ training with various other pro clubs. I was there when the Ballers ownership reached out and advised that the only way we can support them is that they had to play in Oakland, when asked if Alameda College was okay. Nah, I was there when our group asked the Ballers to help start a co-op on ownership. We had hours and days of back and forth. They wanted a fan bill of rights, which was fine, but we insisted on actual change. And finally, I was there when all of MLB owners meant to vote for A's relocation, not just talking about why the A's belong in our city, but why Oakland is a city with hope and fight. I went there to prove that no matter what, we won't let pro baseball die in Oakland. That's it. So the whole Let's Go Oakland channel was, all right, not bad. This will continue on a closing statement.
We're going to be a stickler here. We got to keep it to time, and we're going to ask a lot of
You
questions.
know, the politics, they just keep on
Exactly.
going.
If you're watching on the live streams too, you can ask questions, fire away in the chat, they'll bring them up here too. So we're gonna have a lot of questions getting answered. Hey, guys, did you know this? Jade and Jorge? You can get an Oakland Ballers 12-ticket holiday flex pack now available. Did you all know you can give the joy of baseball to your friends and family members right in time for the holidays? Crazy. Wow, I know, right? Okay, so you guys can, in addition to giving the joy of baseball, go on the Dealer Maker app. It is on the email. All the instructions are there. Starting at 7 o'clock, you can start voting on either Jorge or Jade. We're going to jump into some Q&A right now. We're going to focus on a few specific topics: fan experience, business growth and operations, baseball innovation, as in rule changes and other things. And let's get started. Fan experience first. We're going to start with Jorge because I was so rude in cutting him off. What ideas do you have to improve the game day experience for fans at Ramondi Park?
Wow, that's a great question. Sorry. I think I would start by adding the playground to the whole atmosphere with the stadium. I would start by closing the left field street section, kind of creating and bringing in more vendors on that area, kind of letting all the fans and the community know that what's called batting practice can be attended and hang out in the left field, beyond the left field wall, because it reminds me of Wrigley and it should be utilized a little bit more. Even to a further extent, I would probably close partially the left street area where the players can come from the clubhouse in and out with no problem, with traffic over there, and then the fans can see the players coming in. Also incorporating the newly market hall that's right there too as well. All that can be incorporated and be an amazing area for the whole fan experience, especially families and young adults that are single can go over there and mingle and ready to hit a single with the ladies and gentlemen or anyone that's out there.
All right, same question to Jade. What ideas do you have to improve the game day experience for fans?
Yes. So first and foremost, I think learning from our team visitors and fans at the games would be the best way to identify these priorities. However, I have gathered that folks definitely would like to see an improvement in the bathroom situation. We can all appreciate porta potties, but if we can go somewhere that we feel safe, that has lights at night, and we feel comfortable leaving our seats to go to, I think is definitely something that would create an overall better experience at the game. I also think that it's important to share that one of my other priorities is creating a community assessment that would ask questions like this. What are stadium improvements you would like to see? On my personal note, I know technical things such as replays, things on the screen that make it more accessible for fans watching, know what's going on, maybe just missed something because they dropped their food or just got distracted and can look up really quick and know what's going on. Overall, strengthening the foundation of our guest experience would be my priority.
All right, next question. Did you know you can give the gift of baseball with a holiday joy club? What? Business friend, how do you plan to attract sponsorships and partnerships that align with the team's values as a fan board member? I'll start with you.
Sorry, can you actually repeat that one?
Yes.
How do you plan to attract sponsorships and partnerships that align with the team's values?
Yes, so I actually got a great suggestion during the campaigning process, and somebody suggested, who's actually in the crowd today, that we do a lemonade stand, sponsored by Lemonade 5.0, just because it's me, where we bring in small businesses in the Bay Area every game, every other game, where they can showcase their products, showcase what they bring to the Bay, and highlight all of our other entrepreneurs because there's so many in the Bay Area. Along with partnerships, sponsorships, I think cold calls and grassroots outreach and using our networks as individuals go such a long way in terms of partnerships. We have so many strong ones already and continuing to build on that, to bring them to games, to give them free tickets to their teams, to the youth that they support, really is what creates a generational love for ballers and brings a generational love to wanting to continue to support them.
Back to you, Jorge. How do you plan to attract sponsorships and partnerships that align with the team's values?
Yeah, I think that I'll bring on all my networks that have grown throughout the whole time that I've been trying to keep days in Oakland, trying to get the roots back in Oakland. I'll bring a lot of my networks in to kind of help partner that up. You're wearing Oakland this year. I mean, that's an amazing partnership right there alone that we have, kind of introduced you guys with and everyone else here. I think that traveling away and going to away games and speaking just how amazing the city is to bring in more sponsorships as well. I mean, you have to have some authenticity, some genuine love for the city to kind of go and in person meet with all these business owners, small business owners, and tell them that there is a place here called Raimondi Park where a professional baseball team that cares about you will show the love back. And we'll start with the Fans Fest as well. Raimondi Park, we're planning on doing something there and bringing all these vendors and everyone can see how beautiful that whole place can be and can be turned into a magical area for sports culture.
So if you're watching the live stream, you can ask questions. If you want to ask questions in person, I'll stop asking questions soon so you guys can get some in. And if there aren't a lot of people lined up, I'll ask more. But you can go over here and you can ask questions here in just a moment. Now, we know Major League Baseball is a bit rigid, it's a bit stuffy, it's a bit slow to adapt. The Pioneer League, though, is an innovation baseball league. One thing I love is the home run derby if the game's tied after 9. I want to see that a lot more. But what would you do if you had the opportunity to introduce rule changes and innovations to the game of baseball? What would you bring to the Pioneer League, Jade?
I thought about this question before, and I think it's so interesting because it's given the freedom to what would make baseball even more fun than what it is. I think there's a part of me that wants to see what if we change the ball, what if we change the bat. And that's just a silly suggestion for a last inning, but I think it's so fun to see all these other opportunities that could make baseball more innovative.
Same question to you, Jorge. What rule changes would you like to see?
You know, I am a very traditionalist baseball fan. However, I do understand that the pace of the game has dramatically increased. So, and I understand that the youth can't really sit in one place, but that's why we have the Open 68 over on the right field side with the drums and everything. And you want to enjoy the drumming and the chanting and the waving. But one rule I would say is that enough with the stepping out of the box, getting your gloves ready. I think that I would implement a rule where the batter has to have 1 foot at all times in the batting box, and then that way and then the pitcher cannot step his toe off the rubber, and then that way can increase the pace of the game much quicker and much faster. That's one way I would say. And then I think I would implement a rule where you can only get to have three chances of basically bunting. So you only get three chances to bunt in the whole game. And I think that would be kind of making the game a little more interesting as well, because you have to kind of think of who should bunt and what in the order and all that. It's just, baseball is such a chess game that I love that game, baseball, because it makes you really think, and that's what I would do.
All right, this one comes from the live stream. What is the biggest risk the Ballers are facing, and how would you address it? Jorge, you can go first.
Yeah, I think we have to have an understanding that the Ballers are not a minor league team. They're even lower than the minor leagues, and they're an independent ball club that have to kind of survive in this climate of, especially being in the Bay Area. And I think that is what we need to really come into terms with. And I think that's going to lead to a lot of community involvement, a lot of people willing to do more than just say, hey, you know, this is it's going to replace the A's, but they're not here to replace the A's. Let me just make that clear. They're here to make it a professional baseball environment where you can still be involved and bringing back that whole sense of belonging. And I think that's what we need to understand. That's where it's kind of a good and a bad thing, but it's up to us. It really is.
To piggyback off of that, I think this question about risk really asks us about sustainability. How will the Ballers stay in Oakland? How will they continue to grow in Oakland? And I think it's thinking outside of Oakland. I think the biggest risk is doing outreach outside of it, because if we want people to come into the town and support the town, we have to recognize that the Bay Area is so much bigger than Oakland, as much as we don't want to admit it. How can we make sure that people in San Lorenzo and San Leandro, and even in San Francisco, are aware of the Ballers? We know that they have we know that they have their own team, but it's important that there are people aware of the Ballers that don't live in Oakland and want to come support baseball in Oakland. And so maintaining that sustainability, I think, is a big thing we need to think about moving forward after our first year.
I'll start with Jane on this, but if you were elected the fan board member, how would you measure your success first year?
I think success looks different to all of us. To me personally, it would be how much I have learned and how much I could encourage my intentions and priorities. There are things already in progress, there are projects already in motion, but I have the energy to come in and look at things through a certain lens, and I'm excited to put my 2 cents in there and say, hey, maybe we should consider this. Or maybe we should be thinking about this way. And if I can say that a year from now that some of the people around me are asking the same questions, I would feel successful.
Yeah, that's the way I would measure the success is come ask me again in the year, because I don't tend to kind of show this is what I plan to do, this is all. I'm not a show you type of guy. I'm a make it. Like I'll be there. I've already done it with the reason why we're here right now is because we wanted fan ownership, and Brian and Paul, we all met days and days to kind of create a co-ownership along with James Wigginton and all the other people that were trying to create actual change. So if I'm going to measure success, I can point to everything that I've done in the past right now, right? And I think that come next year, then you can ask me that question and I can show you what I've done.
Speaking of success, first year in, Ballers made the playoffs. What will it take to get them over the hump and win a championship in their second season?
Did you guys sell the yellow team already or no? Bring back the guys. I think the same group of guys that were out here, they showed up to Oakland. We kind of, showed them around downtown. They loved this place. There were players that had no idea that Oakland was like this, and they fell in love with it. And I followed some of them on Instagram, and they still showed up to Oakland. I think that's again, I want to win so bad, I do, but I think that we need to recognize how to do it, and the players they also matter a lot, and if they're happy and we can get over that hump, man, it'll be a crazy ass parade.
I'm excited about this question because it takes us and it makes us look at the players. And as the educator in me believes that the more educated the players are, the more loved and appreciated the players are, and know that the town and the team and everybody supporting them wants them to win and do even better than they did last year, will take so much more than more practice. It will take so much more than more base hits, more runs, and if they feel all of that and know that the team truly is invested in them as people, as players, as people that are growing their own brands, that are trying to reach their goals, and we are here the whole step of the way, I truly think that will contribute to them really stepping it up a notch and doing even better than they did their first season, which is already so crazy.
Definitely more starting pitching.
All right, we do have some questions from the crowd. I see Ross over there. He raised his hand. I'm going to bring the mic over to him. If you have questions, go over there. I'll just run it over there. It's easier than trying to get through the whole crowd here. Here you go, Ross.
Thank you. First of all, I think either one of you would be a great fan board member for sure. I can tell you.
You're wrong.
My question is, I guess, kind of two questions for both of you. These are for both of you. First is, how many games did you go to last year? And second is, who was your favorite player?
I will admit I've gone to one game, and it was the Star Wars night game. I refused to miss that one. And my favorite star player was definitely Kelsey. As somebody that has played softball my whole life, it was so amazing to see a woman play professional baseball and be the first one to do it in Oakland.
Yeah, super cool. I went to 40 home games. And I forgot the away games. I went to Colorado twice, to the Owls, and then the Vibes, and then to YOLO. I think one of my favorite players, probably underdog here, Colton Horner. He great pitcher and also great music. Also Kelsey's amazing. Dante. It's just so many of them that I can't. Like I said, so at the end of the year, we all went out downtown, showed them around, and they all fell in love with it. It's a great group of guys. So I love them all.
Another question from the crowd.
My name is Danny. I grew up in Oakland in the 80s. I went to the 88 and 90 World Series. I went to opening day for the Ballers, and I'm so glad it's the first time in He's happy to be at a baseball game in Oakland in a long time. So here's my question. Let's fast forward a couple of years. The Ballers have gotten great community support from Oakland, but they are barely break even on the financial balance sheet. They're scrapping. They're beating down every infield hit. They are making it work just barely. In a couple of years in the future, the contract between Major League Baseball and minor league baseball gets renegotiated. And the Ballers get a bid to an invitation to be a farm team for a Major League Baseball team. As a board member, how do you vote on
I'll go first. Ultimately, I think with every decision that I can help it make is past the fans. You know, I was fan voted, and there's a part of me again as an educator, community organizer. I want to know what the fans feel. As a reminder, you know, this team is to support players get into the professional Major League Baseball team. We're going to be hurt. We're going to be traumatized by this question. I think it's realistic to think about it, but we also are in an area where we know how to stand our ground. We know how to advocate for things that we want, and we're not afraid to say, no, we don't want that. And thanks for the offer, but we're going to pass. So I think it's going to come down to what does Ballers fans support want in the future? What are they saying? And how do we make sure we respect that?
Can you repeat the question? Just because I was thinking of Tyler Lozano.
Sure. So let's say that the Ballers make it the next couple of years. We're beating out those infield singles. We're barely making ends meet financially. In a couple of years, the Major League Baseball, minor league baseball contract comes up for renegotiation, and we, the Ballers, get an invitation to become a farm league team for a Major League Baseball team. As a board member, how do you vote?
Man, you know how many times I thought about this actually, because you know we are also our fight to keep days open it still continues up to this day. And people ask me how do you deal with the ball situation if they stay. I would say we need to become an academy to Major League in the Major League system. I think that promotion relegation is still a thing, and baseball would be an amazing place for it because you have all these small town cities or towns that can go up if the weakest team goes down. I mean, the A's got relegated to AAA, and so I think that the way I would approach it, the way I would approach that is I would vote no initially, right? But then I would need to have a plan. Okay, you know, if Major League Baseball is all of a sudden wants to come to Oakland and become this a farm town, I'd say no. I'd say let us look at the financials and what you're going to give to us, because your reach just took the A's out of here, right? And now you have the Giants out here acting like the Ballers are a farm team, right? Because one of the players went up there, which I was happy about, right? But at the same time, it's like, well, how do you separate that? So it's a compromise. It's a give and take type of situation. Until I know and see the plans, that's how I'll vote.
All right. Hi, I'm Rachel Becky Denhopper. You might recognize me as one of the finalists who's not up on the stage today. My question, we are all here because we love the Ballers. We can all agree on that. But you are potentially going to be on a board. Anybody who's been on a board knows that boards do not always agree. So my question to you is, when have you made a mistake in a leadership or board role? And how did you resolve that conflict with your board or your other people?
That's a great question. And I am by no means perfect. I've made mistakes. I made a mistake today at work. You know, however, it's, you know, the 68s were a board, right? And my thing is, we're a democracy. If I make a mistake, they hold me accountable, and vice versa. So if there's a situation where there's a project or something, we all have to look into each other and say, like, what is the majority vote, or what do you think? Basically, we have to take into consideration everyone's actions and everyone's feelings on a certain topic or project, and then go from there. You know, and I am okay with being voted down if my project sucks or whatever it is. And I also know that I will make mistakes.
So I've talked about my experience as a community organizer, and I used to work with an organization called La Familia that works with People in Oakland and Hayward around social services. Specifically, I worked on a project called BASTA, Bay Area Straight Through Activism, where we were tasked to work with city council members and board of supervisors to reduce tobacco-related disparities in the Bay Area, San Lorenzo, Hayward, and the surrounding cities. Specifically, a very tough decision was around secondhand smoke in apartments. And it was regarding evictions, if people were to be evicted if they were smoking in their apartment. This is a very tough conversation to have. It's a very housing or not housing situation. And constant conversations with the board of supervisors went back and forth. I advocated for people that lived in apartments, for the youth that had to deal with it and ended up getting asthma from it, all to come to say that a decision was made that felt the most equitable. And that's how I approach things. Because this is not going to affect just me, and this is not going to affect just the person or people on the board. It's going to affect multiple people, so we need to think, how is this equitable for everybody that is a fan of the Ballers, that are players, that is on this board, and those will be the questions that I will be asking if there's a disagreement.
Hi, my name is Rick, and the owners of these teams did a great job hiring baseball people. They both made the playoffs, one became the champion. They have baseball people, they have Don Wakalatsu, Tyler Peterson, Aaron Mott. They have financial people. They have broadcast people. You guys have nothing to do with the players or the finances, the broadcasters. You are the fan. This is a great opportunity, now that the A's are gone, to grab those fans that will go into A's games. A lot of people are still scared of West Oakland. I think they did a great job at Raimondi, a miraculous job. So as the fan rep, being that voice for the fans, how are you going to pull the people who didn't go to Ballers games, those A's fans who are now out there floating around? Thanks.
Great question.
Shout out Rick Taylor right there. You know, and the way that I would do it is the simplest way that I've been doing it is by creating events all around Oakland, stamping at B's on my head and walking around all these bars and restaurants and telling people and kind of preaching to the choir that, you know, there is a professional team here. We the 68s on, I would say out of the 40 times that we went to the games, I would say that 20 of them were pretty filled up in our section. The only way I can talk about it right now, from what we've done with the 68s, is we brought fans to the games. You know, not only do we work with the Ballers on Dia de los Ballers, we get opening night, we bring mariachis, we bring bandas, we bring a bunch of eventful things to the sport. So that's the way I would bring the fans out. We, as fans, we only have so much say, but at the same time, this is the reason why I'm here today, is because the fans also are united and they have a voice, and not, we can't just say, okay, the Ballers have financial personnel and baseball personnel. Right, that's okay, but they also make mistakes, right? And we have to hold them accountable. So as a fan, we don't have to just worry about fans, we can worry about everything else. I mean, we've done so much with the networking around the city of Oakland. We've done so much networking with partnerships. Fans Fest brought in over 80K alone, and those were just run by fans. That's not baseball people or financial people. Those are just fans with a voice.
I love this question because it asks, how do we get A's fans, new fans, people who live in the Bay Area to know about the Ballers? And the second part is, how do we get people to stop being scared of Oakland?
Yep.
To answer the first part, I think, honestly, having conversations, being in community, and what I mean by saying being in community is I have so much experience at being at pop-up events, being at Oktoberfest, Dia de los Muertos, at being at events at Castro Valley Fall Festival, and I have seen the impact of literally having a booth at one of these festivals and just communicating with folks and telling people what it is and what's going on. And that's how I've solely grown my business, besides being online. And that's the second part of my answer, is the A's still have an Instagram. And I am not scared to direct message anybody that's still following them and ask, do you know who the Ballers are? Comment, yes, there is still baseball in Oakland, because I think that's another part. How do these fans, how are they aware that baseball is still in Oakland? And there are people that are on the internet, not on the internet, and so it's thinking creatively is how do we interact with everybody living in the area, living in the Bay Area, to know about this. The second part is how do we get people to stop being scared of Oakland? You know, with social media and the news going on, it's easy to feel like there's always something bad going on every day. But thank God, because the Ballers is one of those positive things that is in Oakland. We are a growing team. We are a winning team. We are a team that's rooted in Oakland, that wants to invest in the fans, that wants fan collaboration. And that's what makes things successful, is collaborative effort. And so it's going to take more than the board. It's going to take more than the fans. It's going to take more than social media. It's going to be a collaborative effort of making sure that the Ballers are known by having conversations, by sharing things, and putting ourselves out there in ways that other teams are not doing, and making ourselves also present at other sports teams, at their roots, at local baseball teams, at local softball teams. I was a product of a rec softball team in Castro Valley and a travel league in Oakland. We could show up to practices, we could show up to their tournaments, and be their sponsors. So when they see us and they know that they have a game, they feel compelled to come to our games too.
Hi, I'm Mike JD. My question is that what was your idea? You kind of touched on this a little bit actually, inadvertently, but my biggest question is that what is your ideas for getting more integration with like the local sports community, not just not just the roots, but you know, also Cal and like the local things. I feel that there could be some like mutual synergy there, you know, sponsorship opportunities. What are some good ideas around that idea? Thank you.
One of my favorite quotes is, you miss 100% of the shots you don't take.
Right.
And there's so many opportunities for sports in Oakland. We have UC Berkeley, we have Cal State East Bay, we have their Roots, and we have so many other sports teams like youth sports, baseball and softball teams. And so I think it's, again, not feeling like we're only going to be targeting adults to come to our teams, but showing up in our youth's lives through this way and showing them that, oh my God, yeah, there still is baseball if you didn't even know. If you weren't even aware that there is a professional team here, there still is. So integrating with practices, maybe having players showing up to give out tips and tricks. I can only imagine if I had an A's player come to one of my softball practices, I would have been a lifelong fan, and I can guarantee I would have never forgotten that experience. And so to think that, yes, there are youth out there still looking for a mentor, still looking for bigger and better tips that doesn't come from their coach that they see every day and they're probably annoying.
Yep.
Really makes an impact. And I think that really can make a difference. And so thinking about how is baseball present in Oakland, how is softball present in Oakland through the schools, through the local rec teams, through the travel teams, and at our local colleges. I'm also a Laney alum, and I know baseball is huge at Laney. So how do we connect with them? How do we show up, whether it's literally having a booth, showing up to practices, or having conversations about what that experience was like, getting on the Ballers and being recruited?
Yeah, I think that I would use my experience with and the partnership that we've already had, we're already established with Oakland, No Soul, Little League. We've also partnered with Cal alumni as well, throwing tailgates. We've done so with the Green Stampede and having baseball players come out and support us. We've had Memo Diaz came out and support the Open Tech youth soccer program over there already, and I coach there and I volunteer there. I think it's just literally just going out and doing the old-fashioned way, not through internet, just saying hi to someone and saying, hey, there's a sports organization that wants to work with you. Heck, I want to work with you. How can we support you in any way? And I think that's what we've been doing. I have a track record with that, and I think that's the only way that we can do it and support that.
club. As a native Oaklander and Latina, I'm just kind of curious as to know how you, what you're going to do or what your ideas are in order for you to get people of color to show up to more of the games. Because I'm so sorry because I did boo, and I just want to say I do apologize for that. But as a distraught Oaklander, seeing everything that has been taken away from us, the last thing in my mind is how can we get people from other cities to either influence or etc. in an Oakland team. So that kind of hurts me as an Oaklander. So I kind of want to know what your ideas are to concentrate on Oakland youth, and to empower people of color to actually go to more games.
So, I know I keep going back to my experience, so let me just say this real quick. I'm a little bit nervous. I don't like politics. I don't like to gloat about whatever I've done. So this is a little bit hard to say. What I've done, look at this. But we already come from a group, a community from East Oakland. We literally brought that community out here and put it in West Oakland. And it's a diverse bunch. And I love to empower our Oaklanders to realize their greatest assets and their greatest value, that you do matter as a person. And we've done it with the Green Stampede and the Oakland 68s and the LGBTQ plus Play Proud program and with the Oakland Roots. We have a track record. I'm sorry that I cannot show you a plan of what I'm gonna do, but I promise to all of y'all that if I lose even tonight, it won't be the last time you hear about me. So I will make true progress here and true action.
I'm so happy this question is asked because I get to go back to one of the priorities that I listed earlier, which was developing a 5-year diversity, equity, and inclusion plan for the next 5 years. Within that plan is developing a community assessment that directly asks community members about the affordability of tickets, the accessibility to games, and how they feel as a person of color in a community that's impacted by Oakland. On top of that, I think that living in the Bay Area has exposed me to the benefits of being very lucky to get free tickets. I have gone to Warrior games with my nonprofit because they've given our nonprofit free tickets for our work. I have been a beneficiary of getting into museums because somebody that I know has an EBT card. And so how can we take what practices and policies are already in place at our local institutions to continue that accessibility, especially if they're already used to it at other organizations? And so following and seeing what other organizations are doing to create that accessibility for tickets, improving the shuttle system where people can take BART and then bus, which I have also utilized, love the free busing system, anything that's free. And then of course, actually learning, are these prices too much for these seats? What would make it more affordable to you? And then again, really trying to grab people to come in by literally finding organizations that benefit people of color, the BIPOC communities, and rewarding them with free tickets for the work, whether it's 5 or 10, and these are tickets that they can give to their people that they're serving. And this looks different in many ways, whether it's a nonprofit, whether it's literal apartment communities that are living in these spaces. They have a resident manager that can connect with these folks. And so there's a lot of ways to reach these communities. We just can't be afraid to go in there and contact them.
Real quick, too, I just want to say that also FIFA is going to have the World Cup in 2026 in Santa Clara. We, the Roots and I, worked together to say, hey, you guys had a whole video, highlight video of how to promote that campaign to bring it to the Bay Area. All they did was use Oakland and show it to the Santa Clara folks out there. I said, that's unfair. And what we're working on now, currently with Mayor Shane Tao, we're working for a sports commission, literally right now. And then it's going to become a World Cup host community. So we are fighting for Oaklanders. We are fighting for what's right. And that's not to just use us and show our community to others to kind of extract from us.
All right. Sorry. So we are living in the tech capital of the world. Do you have any plans to leverage tech in getting participation in winning games?
I didn't hear the question.
So using tech to enhance our games. As I mentioned earlier, I think on a very basic level, replays, things, when the game is showing would be super fun. I am kind of biased against AI. I know there are some moves around making sure that AI can help detect if it's a strike or a ball or how fast everything is. I think besides basic things around just making sure that the ball is in the strike zone, I don't know if AI has been used in the last decade to be doing that. So I think we can move forward with keeping it the way it is and evolving without relying on technology so we can keep jobs for humans, for entrusting our humans with doing their job and making sure that, I guess not relying on tech so much. We can evolve ourselves too.
Yeah, that's a good question. I think that I, myself, personally have come to the realization that tech is a thing that we have to kind of accept. And as long as we put some boundaries and some regulations so that it cannot just take over a sport or a city, right? But we do have to kind of work with tech in order to move forward. That's just reality. And it's going to come with AI. And I think that as long as, again, we have the boundaries and strict regulations to kind of know how to deal with it, we can move forward and even potentially uplift the beast to a whole other method, kind of like the Savannah Bananas, but not with all the other shiny stuff, right? But I would welcome tech. That's what I would do.
Real quick, Pete, you have one more question in person. We have another question from the live stream, and then we'll have them do their closing statements. So go ahead.
Thank you, Tom. Thank you both for stepping up. So what would your plans be to work with the schools, specifically the public schools, to build a future fan base?
That's a great question. I mean, that's an amazing question because I hella love OUSD, and I know they have their challenges. And like I said, currently I'm a volunteer soccer coach for Oakland Tech High. I missed practice today because of this, so my bad, y'all, my bad, boys. But again, we already have the connections, the networks, and I think that as soon as if I were to get elected as a board member, even if I wasn't going to be elected as a board member, I will still go and ask OUSD to be part of this great organization, just like I've done it with the Oakland Roots. The Oakland Roots have come down to Oakland Tech, have been a part of the OAL and the Oakland Athletic League, and that's because I brought these partnerships up to them and say, hey, you have to work with them. So there's no doubt. I mean, OUSD, anything Oakland, I would make it happen.
I know I've referred this 5-year diversity, equity, inclusion strategic plan multiple times, but I think it shows how important asking these questions are because these are things that we would acknowledge and address in this plan. To specifically address how do we get involved with OUSD, how do we get the youth involved, I think on a very first basis, what schools are already having baseball? What schools are interested in having some sort of baseball, whether they just need a field, whether they have a club, and then outside of that, Oakland is so much more than baseball. I know this is baseball focused, but I say that with so much love because our players can provide so much more than what's on the field. They can provide their experience in classrooms, they can share their progress and all of their hard work that it takes, whether it was something that they knew they wanted to do in school and they knew that they had to get good grades and push for it, and understanding the balance between being a student first and an athlete second, as I was always reminded, and continuing to be a mentor, whether it's creating a small mentor program with maybe a few of our players that can commit to doing that. There's so many different avenues with what it is involving with schools, and going back to what are their needs, how can we support them grow, and what can we do to really do that?
All right, we're gonna do one more question from the live stream, and then they'll give their closing remarks. And it's actually 7 o'clock now, so on the deal maker, you can actually start voting, but you might want to wait because there's going to be a transcript posted of this event if you want to go back and look at the answers or do any of those things. If you are a fan investor, there are instructions already emailed to you for how you can vote. All right, so this came from the live stream. As the fan board member, how will you take into consideration the input of the other fans that are not on the board? Jake?
Yeah, so there's a lot of ways to get in touch with me. One, I am very active in the community through my business. I actually even have 4 pop-ups through my business this week. And I hope that everyone sees that as an opportunity to not just shop my stuff, but to tell me, hey, I'm a fan of the Ballers and I know you're on the board and this is my 2 cents. I'm also very active online and I would love to hear anything that's going on. And as I mentioned earlier too, one of my other intentions with approaching this is making sure that stakeholders and players, stakeholders as board members and other positions in leadership are more in the community. So people feel like there is a way to share their concerns, share their comments, and anything else they have on their mind.
And I would say every time some other fans ask me like, oh, I'm not an investor, I can't vote for you. It doesn't matter, you matter. You matter, your ideas, bring them to us, bring them to me. We are always at the Ballers games, we are always, and I'm saying we because the 68s, I'm still gonna be a part of it. Even if I don't, if I get voted on, obviously I would have to probably resign. But if I don't get voted on, I will still be at the Ballers games, I will still be at the Roots games, I will still be at Oakland Tech, I will still be in Oakland, around Oakland. You can find me, I'm not that hard to find, like Tupac said. So please get at me however you want. I am on social media, however I am some more on, I think it's called IG, Instagram. So just hit me up and we will make it happen. There's people that have literally hit me up to go pick up trash a week before, and we went to go pick up trash. Not just Bay Raymond, we've done it in East Oakland. We've done it everywhere in Oakland. Oakland is what I breathe. Oakland is what I love, and we'll make it happen. You matter. The fans matter. It doesn't matter if you're an investor or not. This is about you.
Before we do closing statements, I just want to give these 2 props. It's not easy to sit up here and talk and share ideas and stuff. Give them thumbs up for closing statements. All right, Jorge, closing statement. Let's go.
All right, so in closing, I've worked with several mayors from Ron Dellums, Gene Kwan, and now Sheng Tao. I've been the liaison between city leaders and sports teams. I, along with Bruce and several other leaders of this city, are working to put together a sports commission literally right now, starting with the World Cup host committee for 2026. I believe in us, the people. So as your board fan representative, I promise to fight for you, provide transparency to create a community with a sense of belonging, to enhance the stadium experience for family and fans alike, to help support players and their families, to help support the staff, and most importantly, to help promote our beautiful city and this club. I bring all of those networks and connections I've established along this journey through genuine, authentic commitment to the city I love and grew up in. After all, what would I do without baseball in Oakland? Thank you. Oakland never quits, baby.
I am Jade Lay. I'm a proud alum of Laney Community College and the historic All-Women's Mills College that has left us too. I'm an entrepreneur that started a plan to pay for my student loans and has grown a side business into a full-time job over the last 5 to 6 years. I am the owner and creative director of Lemonade 510 that highlights the love that I have for the Bay Area. I am a softball player, a former educator, and former community organizer. I have been transparent and clear about my intentions in supporting the Ballers from the beginning. I am passionate about the things that I care about, and it shows in how I'm speaking to all today, and the things that I do, and how I run my business. And I'm committed to approaching a position on the board with the same energy, love, and passion I do with everything. I am asking for your vote. We're all on the same team, but I hope you can see my strengths, because I'm ready to get off the bench and hop into the game.
You did exactly good job. I want to point out, West Oakland, Ramandi Park, 100,000 smiling, spending baseball fans showed up to a ballpark that was previously unplayable by Little Leaguers. It is incredible to see you all here. It was incredible to see you at Ramandi Park. I can't wait to see you there next season. Give it up for Paul. Give it up for Brian. Yeah. These guys played something special. And I think you all recognize that that's why you're here today. Again, you can vote for your fan board member representative now. And again, there will be a transcript of this event posted so you can do your study, do your research. But man, I cannot speak highly enough of these two, Jade Lay, Jorge Leon, for coming up here, making it to the finals, sharing their thoughts. I'm going to go over there and have a beer with us.
Wait.
What's
I
up?
appreciate you, Casey.
Thank you.
You've always talking noise, man. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Appreciate you.